Hello. So this is my reflection video for the MCHAT screening that we did. And what the MCHAT screening is, it's a tool that asks a collection of questions to decide if or discern if your child, any child, is meeting the developmental milestones typical for their age. So for my participants, I used a really good friend. Her name is Danielle Locker, and her daughter, Everly Locker, who's 2 years old. And the child did very, very well. She's getting a lot of enrichment from her parents. Her mom is a stay-at-home mom, and she does a lot of enrichment, and it definitely reflected throughout the screenings and just in my encounters and typical play with her. So the parents felt really good about letting me do this experiment or exercise with her. And yeah, they were very comfortable and willing to help out with that. So, what did I learn? I learned a lot from this experience. I thought it was a really good way to ask the right types of questions to see where the child is in their development. Um, I've used a similar screening like this when I was working in the PPCD unit at my school. So, some of the questions were a little bit similar to how I've done that. Of course, it's a totally different setting. So one of the questions was, what problems did you encounter? Well, some of the problems were when you're trying to interact with a student or any child who's in a very comfortable place, they can be a little hesitant to participate or engage with you, and that shyness can also sometimes be a little bit misinterpreted, even though they're still able to do a lot of the developmental activities listed. They could be a little like hesitant to do that. So that was one of the problems. But how would you improve the screening process in the future? I thought it was a really good exercise, really good questions. I guess one way to improve would to create a little bit more experience for um, naturalistic play to see where the child is and how they interact when they're just playing. To do more like I guess interactions with the child. A lot of the questions were like, oh, point, jump, talk, say this, but to just do a little bit more observing I guess, and the portions of the screening that seemed irrelevant, I personally thought all of the parts were relevant, and I guess some of the questions that I did in the screening were a little similar to the checklist too. So the parent thought like, oh, aren't these are kind of similar questions? But I still thought that all the components were relevant to get a good gauge, I guess, on the child's developmental milestones. So altogether, really good experience. It made a lot of good conversation with the parent about, how the child is. The child was very aware, not something that we see a lot working with students with autism. She was very aware of her surroundings, had a good sense of danger and unawarement, and always wanting to engage with other people around her and her mother, of course, always wanting her mom's attention, showing her a new toy. And so I think the screening made a really good experience for how to assess a child in any setting, really. So thank you so much for watching my reflection video.